Okay, this is a quick tutorial on your Paris Map Tour application. If we click that, it's going to open up to this page here. Paris Map Tour, Chapter 6. All right, in this chapter, you're going to build a tour guide app for a trip to Paris. Creating a fully functioning map app might seem really complicated, but App Inventor provides two high-level components to help out. We have our Activity Starter, which makes it possible for you to launch another app from your app, including Google Maps, and a web viewer, which will show any web page you want within a subpanel of your app. We're going to explore both of these components when we build two different versions. Okay, so what we're going to be working on in this first one is an Activity Starter component. We'll also be working with the web viewer, variables, a list picker to give the user the ability to choose from a list of locations, and how to build a URL dynamically to show up on different maps. Okay, so we need to create a new app. I'm naming mine BSU Paris Map Tour, and it has an image, which is going to be this metro here. You will find, if you want, right here is the Metro JPEG that you're able to use for your app Inventor. So you can download that Metro right there. You will then need a label, which is going to tell you Discover Paris with your Android. Then you're going to take a list picker component, which is this button, and it's going to read Choose Paris Destinations. So we can use this to build our main screen real quick. So have an image. And in that image, we're going to, I'm sure I have that picture stored somewhere in my downloads or a file, I've saved it, of your Paris. Right there. Okay, and then we're going to put in a label underneath that and a list picker below that as well. It doesn't tell us much about the sizes for these things here, so until we read them further on, maybe we will get some more descriptions on that. So let's just go ahead and make it look pretty as far as we can. Let's take our image here. Let's make its width fill parent. And height looks good. Let's take I'm going to put these inside of a horizontal array. Let's do a vertical arrangement where its width is fill parent. I'm going to drag these into this arrangement here. I'm going to then center these. Oh, maybe I can't center them within the label. Maybe I can do the whole thing vertical, alignment, centered. Okay, I can do that way. So then our label is supposed to read, Discover Paris with your Android. And then the next one is going to say, choose a Paris destination. This here, they used a different size font and they made that blue. So let's do that as well. So we're going to make our font size a little bit bigger. Let's make that 22. And maybe make the text color blue. Looks pretty nice. Let's do our list picker. Maybe we want to change the shape a little bit to be more rounded on the edges, so it looks more like a button. You could do things to set its background color blue as well. Maybe then the text color, put that at a white. Sorry, that's not the right place. Text color white here. That doesn't look too bad. Okay, the Activity Starter is a component with which you can launch any Android app, including Google Maps. And so what we need to do is we need to bring the Activity Starter in, which is going to be a non-visible component, and then we need to set the properties so that it will launch Google Maps. So action, this is the values, activity class for values, and activity package, and these are the values. And these need to be very, they're case sensitive. They need to be typed in exactly as you see here. So we're going to bring in an Activity Starter. Okay, we're going to bring in right here, Activity Starter. It is a non-visible component, and like it said here on the side, we need to have these typed in exactly. I don't know if we can copy and paste these, but under action, let's try it. Looks like you can. So that might be the best bet so that you don't lose any information or mistype. Activity class and activity package. Okay, in the block setter, you're going to set one more property, which will be your data URI, which lets you provide a URL to launch a specific map in Google Maps. The property must be set in the blocks editor instead of the component designer because it needs to be a dynamic, and it will change based on whether the user chooses the Eiffel Tower, the Louvre, or the Notre Dame Cathedral. So we have to make sure that we have our JPEG downloaded so that it can be the picture for our image. We've done the list picker. We've changed its text property to read choose Paris destinations. Now we need to be working in our blocks editor to add some behaviors to our components. So it says here, when the app begins, the app loads the destinations into the list picker component so that the user can choose one. When the user chooses a destination from the list picker, the map application is launched and shows the map of that destination. So right now we're going to just open Maps and instruct it to run a search for the chosen destination. So it does say here these are the blocks that you're going to need, and it does give you a visual description of them right here as well. So we need to initialize a global variable named destinations. We're going to make a list, and it's going to have those three possibilities, those three items loaded into your list, which will then create your variable destination. So let's do that next. In my blocks editor, we need to get a variable. We're going to initialize that to be destinations. We need to go in here to our lists. We're going to make a list, and we're going to have 3 selections, so we need to add one more slot here. We are going to add in those 3 destinations, so we need 3 strings. 1, 2, 3. All right. The first one. Okay, so we've loaded those up. And these will need to be set up when we initialize our screen. So let's refer back to our specs here. So this will all, we'll need to define these behaviors in our screen1.initialize event so that we have those take place once the screen starts up. So when screen1 initializes, we're going to set our list picker elements to get our global destinations. So that's the next piece to do. When screen1 is initialized, we need to set our list picker elements to whatever we have in this global variable destinations. Okay, it says it's time to test your app. We're going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so I've set this up. Here's an Android-based platform that we're using to run this application on. If I hit this list picker button, we have our locations here that we have pre-placed into our list picker, but none of them give me any information as of yet. They just report back to this main screen here. So we're still working on that. Okay, so we need to consider how to Google a location. If we were to search up the URL for Google Maps Paris, it would look like this, HTTP all the way through to the Paris here. So when you type this URL in the address bar, it'll show a question mark, and this is it signifies that there is a parameter coming. And the parameter is the information the website needs to process the request. In this case, the parameter name is Q, which is short for query, and its value is Paris. So we have a parameter query whose value is Paris. So the way we want to do this is to, we'll set up a list picker and set the after activities data URI to join this first predefined text plus whatever location we are wanting to look at. So these will be this same URL beginning http maps.google.com !q equals, but after that we will add in the destinations so that it will locate different maps. So it looks kind of like this. So this is what we're building next. I copied and pasted that straight from the instructions, so that might make it a little bit easier. Okay, so our activity starter is going to load up the Google map based upon whatever list picker selection we've got that, so that the user has selected. Now when our screen one initializes, it takes these destinations and loads them into our elements here. So then they will be available for selection to this list picker, and it'll do this after it has picked that. But then we still need to have the activity starter be called to start the activity. So we need to call our activity starter to start our activity. And let's see where we're at with our specs. This might be our first segment done. Let's take a look at it and see how it works on our user interface. All right, so we're up and running here on our App Inventor Companion. Let's test out our list picker. Choosing a destination, the Eiffel Tower. Let's see if that pulls up a Google map of Eiffel Tower. And it looks like it is doing that. We have pictures here of The Eiffel Tower, I don't know the exact streets, but I'm pretty sure that is in Paris, and that is the Eiffel Tower. Let's look at our next one, the museum. And as well, it looks like it is bringing up the correct locations. We have done this. Let's do our last one just for verification. We're bringing up the Cathedral of Notre Dame. And yes, our application is working as it should. So we have launched an app within an app. Now we go back to our specs. It looks like this should be the end of our part 1 of our Paris Map tour activity. Thank you.